Leah, thank you so much for inviting me to your class that day. It was just awesome. Even though it was 8:30 in the morning, that was, I thought, oh, okay, I'm here for 8:30. But what surprised me was all the students were there too. I noticed only one student came in just before you started at 8:31. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how you get everybody there at 8:30 in the morning.
It's an excellent question and a great observation. It's one that other people have commented on as well. So the students are very keen. They're a great group of students. They come to class early. They usually have their clickers out, their notes out for the day, their binders out, whatever it is that they're doing, their laptops open. And I think they're used to us starting at the same time each day. So like as you mentioned, 8:31. And we jump right into things. We jump right into content for the course. We jump right into various activities, different tasks that the students will be engaging in. So I think they have that expectation known from the get-go of the course back in September.
Yes, and I think I was there the early part of October,
Yes.
second week of October. The other thing I noticed is you had a really nice arc to the class. So the first 10 minutes as people were settling and getting used to things, they had all their equipment out for sure, but the first 10 minutes was content, and you reviewed some things and gave some new information. And then almost to the second of 10 minutes in, let's have a clicker question. And that was their first activity in. Can you tell me how you frame that so that you know when to put in new activities? I mean, you had just 50 minutes.
Yeah, it was a nicely well-timed class, and having you there, Sheryl, to show me reflect on it was wonderful. So one thing that I've learned is students' attention can start to wane. And so one thing I like to try and do is provide some content, which is kind of a bit of a review overlap from the last day, some new stuff, and then before they're about to maybe start to tune out, hit them with an applied part.
Yes.
In this case, I believe it was a clicker question on some content.
Well, and all your examples were so relevant to kinesiology, and I tried to keep track of how many practical examples you gave from either classwork or field research or in the lab. They were all so relevant, and I did not see any disengagement in the students, even through that first 10 minutes, and then they were into the clickers. I also loved how you did the first clicker question. There was not a lot of conversation about it. They were pretty uniform in there, but the second one, then you had students engaging. And have you found that as a technique to work? You have a large class.
Yes.
In a traditional setting.
Yes, so there's about 125 students in a traditional lecture theater, fixed tables, not much room to move around whatsoever. And I do find that mixing things up in terms of some self-reflection on, okay, did I get that clicker question right? Did I not? And then perhaps the next one, let's talk about it out loud. And what did you think versus what did the person next to you think? Where are some misconceptions here that we can clear up before we move on?
Well, so the clicker question did that. And then you had just this awesome activity that went 5 minutes with this, 5 minutes with this, 5 minutes with that. And that all got done very nicely. But there was a point, and I can't remember exactly, where you used just a video example to show the difference between causation and correlation. All right, that was the best one. Can you say a little bit about using video?
Well, I like to use video, again, just to appeal to different learners. So visual learners, it'll stop having to listen to me or have conversations with one another and tune into something engaging and audio and video on the screen, and we dim the lights and turn the lights back on. And so using, in this case, there was a pop culture video to drive home that point of the difference between correlation and causation. And I think it really resonates with the students. A point, when we're talking about research, correlation does not equal causation. It can be such a dry statement, but if you add some meaning behind it that the students can really connect with, I think it holds a lot longer.
Well, and I don't know if I bet this was intentional, because laughter will lock something into the brain. So as soon as you watch that video, and everybody laughed.
Yes.
I mean, there was laughter. So not only have you got the visual, the auditory, and the remembering part of the brain triggered with laughter. So yeah, it really hit home for me too, the causation and correlation. So drawing it to a close, by the end of that class, you had a stack of things, a stack of materials from the students that they had done in groups. They'd peer-reviewed, they'd refined, and handed things in. Like, the amount of things they did in that 50 minutes was incredible. Are most of your classes like that?
They can be. I like to switch things up, even in just one class, to keep things moving. Students are provided with some kind of template-based slides that are posted online in advance. And again, the expectation they know is we're going to kind of cruise through some of the content, add through the content as we go, but we want to focus on those application activities and tasks so that they can really solidify these things so that they're not just vague theories or terms or statements.
Okay, I get to observe in a number of different situations, and I also get to see people's laptops or personal computers or iPads open. And there wasn't one that wasn't on the slides.
Oh, that's great.
And adding to the material, so I could really see how that worked. And I'd just like to make the point too that at no time did anybody appear rushed.
Oh, good.
So the students were in gear, you were in gear, so was your research coach, and everything moved smoothly. So the 50 minutes just went through quite nicely. And it's hard to notice from the outside sometimes how that is looking, but it was a relaxed yet productive time.
That's great, and like you said, Cheryl, the amount of stuff we did in that one class that you observed could have been overwhelming and could have been seemingly rushed, and you never want that to be, experienced by the students. You want them to just be engaged and learning while they're in the classroom. So that's great to hear.
And that certainly was the case.